Hi everyone, this is Hrik. So today we'll be discussing on an interesting topic. For that, I have my sister with me to discuss on this. So the topic for today will be the differences and similarities between the generation. For example, we have the 90s kids and the Gen Z, which is the ongoing generation. So let us start the conversation and see what my sister has to speak on this. Okay.
I don't know how it's going to be because this is our first session. Okay, and my brother is doing the session. I'm really happy because he's starting to do something of his own. I don't know what questions he has, but I think by the title I have heard about the topic being the similarities and differences between the generations. I think as I'm a 90s kid, I'll be able to reply to his questions. I hope so. So let's start.
So this is my sister, Miss Moumita Chakraborty.
Hi.
So let us start our conversation.
Sure.
So my first question will be what are the behavioral changes you have seen among the generations as 90s and the current generation, Gen Z?
See, that is a very interesting question. So I'll be trying to answer all these things in both the languages, if you don't mind,
Sure.
be it English or Hindi. So there are. First, I'll start off with the differences. So when we were kids, it was a completely different kind of atmosphere around us. We didn't have mobile phones like the smartphones we have now. Neither we had those Nokia phones also.
Yeah.
Those days we used to have landline phones, and the most important thing was that video game which used to come up, which we used to play in the TV. So that is the first difference. And nowadays we get everything on mobile phones, which we never used to get. All those things. Now if you want to be a blogger, you have your phone. If you want to play a game, you have
Everything.
your phone. If you want to make a project, you have your phone. If you want to have a conversation with your friend or your near or dear ones, you have your phone. In our generations, what we used to see was our parents when they used to go to office or something. So we, even for calling them, we had to dial the extension number, like this kind of phones we had, or we had to type all the buttons, then wired ones. Yeah, and sometimes network was not that good, just like we have now. Even the kids of these generations, if they don't find 5G for even 5 minutes, they get like irritated very fast, which we were not like that. We had that patience of waiting, and there are a lot of differences. Patience was much more in the 90s kid as compared to the 2000s kid, and now the Gen Z is completely, I would say, I don't know about others, but what I have noticed is like they do not have patience at all, which we have, being 90s kids. Okay, and we used to go out for playing. That is another difference. Now we do not. The urbanization is so much in the city areas, or even if you go to a town, everything has been connected to money or monetization. So even if you want to go to play somewhere, for example, you were in KIOC, you took admission in KIOC for playing cricket. However, we used to play like anything. We had Saturdays and Sundays off, and those were the times which was the best during the weekends. And we had so much of playground, we had so much of nature and greenery around us. It was we were healthier as compared to you all 2000s kid. And so these are the differences, I would say. And the similarities to talk about are that computer started when we were kids. Like the slowly those things started, the computer came, we had the computer classes, which still is very important, but it is developing day by day. AI has become very powerful, and I think it is taking over humanity. The AI is taking over humanity, which according to me is very dangerous, because what a human mind and human brain can do, I do not think that an AI or a computer generated tool can do. That I do not feel good, because we are somehow lacking the emotional intelligence while going towards the technological intelligence. And similarly, you will notice one thing, that before we used to have shows of 1 hour or 2 hours.
Yeah.
Films are more than 3 hour long. And slowly, why I say that patience is diminishing among the kids of today is because now we have come to the age of reels or shorts, which can't be 15 to 20 seconds long. And even then we get irritated, like, we want to scroll fast
Yeah,
fast
we
fast
don't
when
want
we
to
will
see.
see the next reel.
Yeah.
So that gives a very important lesson to us, that we are slowly losing our patience, which is
Patience.
very bad for
Very
us.
bad.
Because if we go beyond our 90s generations also, for example, if we go to the history of India, everything if we talk about Chanakya, if we talk about any like famous or intelligent personality, even if we talk about my idol Ratan Tata sir, he has so much patience in him.
Yeah.
Like still when he is invited for an event, or he gives a lecture on a certain topic, he has so much patience, and he answers to each question in a way that is understandable
Yeah.
by each and every
Every-
individual of every age group. Okay, so these are the things which I think generation Z is lacking, and that is not good. And that's why people are going into meditation, yoga and everything. However, we never needed that. We had our parents, they also used to play with us.
Yeah.
Or we had friends among in the colony, because we had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Now we have mobile phones, that's why we are not going out of the house, which is spoiling our mental health as well as our physical health.
Yeah.
That time we had, as I said, playgrounds, we had nothing else to do. So we had no other option except going out on the weekends. What we will do by sitting at home?
Yeah.
We have to go out. Either we will watch Mahabharata, Ramayana, which used to come up on the TV channels which
That
existed those days,
Yeah.
or anyhow during the entire week, like Monday to Friday, and then Saturday we had half day schools. But after that, what will you do? Like, you can either play video games or watch TV.
There's nothing.
But you want to play also as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So we used to go to each other's houses. So that was a kind of developing your mental health. When you speak to somebody, that the other person, be it your friend or you visit a neighbor's house, they will have something to say, which will in some way reduce your stress. You will forget about what you are
Yeah.
thinking, which we are doing now through mobile phones. To lessen our stress, we are watching reels, we are watching videos, because we have no one to talk to now. People have become so emotionally drained. They have so much stress in themselves that now they do not want to share their feelings with others, because they feel like, if I share my feelings with someone else, they will take advantage of it, which we never had that. So I think our generation was the best. Being
That
90s
was-
kid, I feel 90s generation was best. Then you have your generation, like the 2000s
2000.
generation, it was still on a good position. Like, you started off with the Nokia phones, then you got to understand how computer was developing.
Yeah.
You have the laptops in your
Started
generation,
that.
started the laptop, started. And then what do I call it? The mobile phones, smartphones came up.
Just came, yeah.
But slowly, you I think are the best among this, because you fall in the center of
Previous
these
one.
generations, because you have gotten to gel up with both the generations. So that makes you, I think, one of the strongest or the most intelligent people, which when you grow up and you get into your jobs, I think you will bring in the most changes in the society.
We know both the generations. We
Yes.
can adjust to both type of situations. We can adjust.
And you will understand also at the same time, because what happens is, like, you knew what level of patience we had, what our generations had to offer, and what the current generation is offering. And you have also passed your teenage there. Still you are on your teenages only if you are a 2000s kid. But the best part among this is that when you understand two different generations, and you are born into a generation which is an amalgamation of both the things, you get to make use of it in a better way. ठीक है. So the thing is, these are the similarities and differences. I have mostly spoken about the differences only till now among the generations, because similarities, it becomes little tough for me to understand. See why, if you ask me, you are not asking me, that's what I'm saying. If you ask me why, then I'll say ki 90s kids are used to stay with the family more, and we had that Indian culture vibe.
Passing time with the
Family and neighbors. Majority of the times we used to go to each other's houses during weekends, or whenever we used to get time, because see, the culture in each of the state of India is very diverse. But still, when we were in Arunachal Pradesh, I hope you remember that we had staff or employees in Arunachal Pradesh Forest Corporation Limited from almost all the states. We had people from Odisha, we had people from the Seven Sisters, Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, Tripura. Then we had people from southern part of India. There were people from Tamil Nadu, Krishna Machadi. I think he was Telugu. I think Mama, we used to call him Mama. So there were people from North India with surnames like Rawat or Mehta. Okay, so but still, the best part was people used to trust each other.
Yeah, that was not the barrier.
That was not the barrier. Language or religion or culture was not the barrier, and we used to understand each other. It was not like only professional. Now we differentiate between the so-called professional and personal life. I have seen this while I am staying here in Bangalore since many years now. I've seen that here people never feel like going to each other's houses. I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but I miss that a lot, because we have seen that those were wonderful memories. Because if you are born as a human and you don't gel up with people, and don't exchange your cultural values and your authenticity, then how will that grow?
That is why humans are there.
Right. It's not about forcing one language on the other person. Better than that, I feel, if you want someone to learn your language, you invite them at your house. Okay, you make them understand, okay, this is the recipe we cook, this is how we stay, and try to converse in their language as well. What will happen is, for example, both people will be benefited out of it.
Should be from both ends.
Effort should be from both ends.
They have to try.
And anything and everything cannot be forced and learned. Anything and everything in life. If we find if I give you an example of a toddler who has joined a school, for example, he goes to a school, takes an admission. He doesn't take, his parents give admission, and he finds the first teacher to be a very good-hearted, kind soul or jolly person. That child learns better than any strict teacher on the school.
Obviously,
right? Because if you learn something out of scare, if you are scared, out of fear, then you do not get to learn that thing properly. You learn it out of force.
That is not learning.
You will do that until you are into that school. For example, your teacher teaches you to speak in English and you are scared because you have to speak in English or else she will beat you up. Then you will speak only when you are in school, and you will try to come out of the school, and unless and until you go home, you will not find that comfortable zone. But if you find a teacher who is like very loving and caring and is trying to teach you in a way that she is like your elder sister or like your mother, you will feel like, oh my God, I want to stay study more in school.
I want to learn more.
Yeah, I want to learn more of English, because I like, sometimes I used to say like that when I had one teacher in my nursery class whom I used to call Sundar ma'am, because she was beautiful. I do not think that, see, a child who doesn't understand the difference between physical beauty, but they will call someone beautiful because the child has a pure soul. And when a child,
she understands.
absolutely, and when a child calls someone beautiful, that means that person has a pure soul.
It's coming out of their heart. The child's heart.
Yeah, absolutely, that's what is applicable to even adults, because we never lose the child within ourselves. We just stop ourselves from behaving like a child. For example, if you find yourself alone at home, you still start dancing.
Yeah.
That is what happens. Because I do a lot of research on mental health, so I understand, if I apply the same thing on myself also, the same thing will be applicable. So in Arunachal Pradesh, we had this habit of visiting each other's houses in the evenings. See, they used to bring snacks of their own region. For example, Krishnamachari Mama was there and Mami was there. When my mother used to fall sick, we are Bengalis. We never knew the taste of South Indian delicacies, because we never came to South India at that period. We were confined to Arunachal Pradesh itself. But when we came, when they came to our house and my mother fell sick, she knows her cuisines. She won't be able to make Bengali cuisines because my mother is sick. She prepared idli, she prepared dosa out of love, and when she used to bring those things, more than the actual taste of the food, the taste of the food became more tasty because of the love and emotion given to that, added to that by Mami. So, and when Mami used to fall sick, my mother used to cook Bengali delicacies like payesh we make luchis, which is known as puri in northern India. For example, you might have noticed me saying, many people, whenever I meet someone, you are welcome to visit our house. Because that is very natural amongst us. We have to bring these topics up to make the current generation or the 90s.
That is also part of the generation.
That is also a part of the generation. It's not about always making lip syncing videos, making going viral on TikTok and having as many followers you like, but you also should focus on the country you are living in, and what is the current scenario of the country, what is the gross domestic product of the country, where is my country reaching, and what are my duties for the country. Whenever I speak about this, my friends itself say that from which generation are you born, but this is my thinking, and I do not know how many would agree to me on the same topic, but this is all I had to say, that we still have many similarities. If we talk and try to sort out the things together, I think Generation Z has that capacity of being empowered with the AI technology, and they are very smart.
They can do the best.
The moment these kids are born, as we can notice, they are not even 2 or 3 years old, but they know how to use the smartphones. They know how to use the tablets. They know how to use the smart TVs and change the channels and everything. They play whatever they like. I think if we speak more rather than making videos on social media and communicating via this technological stuff, and sit in a proper location and discuss, and do not take benefit out of it, try to find a benefit out of it, I think we can do much better, and our country will go a far better way. For example, Modi ji is from an older generation than us, but he's trying to adapt to the current generation, and that's why he's able to make the differences. And we are proud of it. We are proud of it, what India has achieved.
The growth is so fast right now.
Absolutely, what India is achieving, we are proud of whatever is happening. But at the same time, some bad things are also happening. But still, it is much better.
It's much better.
So this is all I have to say about the similarities and dissimilarities between these generations. and similarities would be good if we discuss the things together. So now you tell me, what did you learn from this? What did you find the most useful thing among this, and what will be your message being a 2000s kid?
My message, what I have learned from what you have spoken right now, will be like we have to adapt to different type of situations, different type of regions, but like first we have to adapt to what they are doing
Absolutely.
before telling or forcing them to learn your culture or your language or anything from your thing. We have to what do you say, gel
We
up
have to
with them.
change
We
ourselves
have to
first rather than
according to
trying to
them.
change others.
Yeah, if we show that we are learning what they were doing, then they will find it interesting to
Absolutely.
interact with
I
us.
completely agree. I completely agree. If we try to make the small changes and we start it with ourselves, I think the world will change.
If we can show that we are learning what you are doing, then they will find it interesting in learning what we are doing right now.
Absolutely. I'm very much impressed with what you have thought, and as per our first session, I think this was a really nice one. I don't know how people will take it, but we spoke our heart out. I spoke my heart out, and whatever he understood, he spoke his heart out, and it is his first session, so kudos to him for being so nice and asking me such important questions, which are very much important for everybody, I think, for all the generations. And I hope it gives a positive message to all of you out there, because we have no bad intention behind this. We were just speaking as brothers and sisters would do at their own residence, like how we discuss amongst ourselves at our own homes. We just did the same thing. The only difference was we recorded it, so that the message reaches to all out there that the one thing which we need is unity. And also understanding each other without thinking in a selfish way, and being selfless and kind to people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. So guys, this is it for today. Thank you so much for watching my first session. This conversation which we are speaking today is to be continued in our next session, as we have discussed on many important different topics. Until then, if you have any questions or any other topics which you want us to speak on, you can let us know in the comment section. So until then, keep watching. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.